Good morning, everyone. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Hope everyone's having a blessed morning. I am having a blessed morning, and this is Sunday. This is a beautiful Sunday. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. I really appreciate it that you are here with me today, right? And I hope that you're taking this Sunday to relax, to energize yourself, reboost yourself for the Monday work that you're going to be hit with. Yeah, you got to go back to work Monday. You got to go back to making the cookies or whatever you'll do to make your livelihood. Yes. So I'm back with another good one. And I said to myself, you know what? Let me give my audience, let me give my subscribers, let me give my fans, let me give my followers some knowledge and some struggles that that basically I was coming upon of my life, basically. And I had to endure a lot of these struggles and a lot of these darkness in my life that I call darkness, but I turned them into success. That's one thing I know how to do, right? I look at a situation, and especially pressure, a lot of pressure. And what's pressure for me is when you cannot feed yourself, you can't clothe yourself, and you cannot feed your family and your loved ones, and you have to figure it out. You have to use all of the resources and all of the benefits that is around you, that is inside the earth and outside of the earth, right? If that means that you have to travel to another state, another country, in order to feed yourself and your family, you must do so. People are so comfortable on just living with the bare minimum, or just not basically living at all. And what I mean by living at all, that means that you are comfortable in your situation, in your circumstances. And what the Creator teaches us, the Almighty teaches us, is that we are much more greater than what we think that we are. So being that you know that you are much greater than what you think that you are, so it's time to embark on a road. It's time to embark on success, right? To uplift your life. And I want to tell you a story about a time where it was really, really bad out here, where there was no jobs, where I was pulling up, right, dressed, suit and ties, with my slip slides on. My slip slides meaning my shoes, right, with a nice haircut, smelling good. I had my nice watch on, whatever watch I had on, had a professional watch, and I was pulling up in establishments and businesses, filling out applications, right, and leaving my resume to these companies. And for some reason, they wasn't taking them. They wasn't calling me. I had the skills, I had the knowledge, I had the understanding, I had the intelligence, and I had the gift to share amongst society or amongst this establishment, a company at the time. But they just was not feeling me. They wasn't vibing with me. So I had to do the unthinkable, which I wasn't thinking before, that I had to use all the resources around me. Basically, I had to use people that was around me, right? And my family and my friends at the time. And I had to ask them, you know what? I got the skills, I got the knowledge, I got everything. Why are these companies not calling me? And I remember my mother, she told me, she said, Austin, these companies are not hiring you is because they got the back to work program. They got the back to work program. So they got a contract. So she didn't know, I don't know if she knew that the city had a contract with a lot of these back to work programs. At the time, I don't think that she knew, but she knew that Austin, in order to basically get a job, you got to get on public assistant. You have to get on public assistant. I said, wow, this is where it comes to. I have to get on public assistant in order to get a job. And it was called Back to Work Program. And Back to Work Program was consist of many different other companies that was out there that they existed, but they wasn't getting a lot of how you want to say, they wasn't getting a lot of grants and money, right? That was funded by them. And that's just why they built their foundation in their companies, right? They wasn't get they ain't had a lot of staff. They didn't have a lot of body to come back and forth throughout they companies. So once I figured this out, that's later on that I'm telling you, right? So I said, you know what? Let me swallow my pride, and I had to get on public assistant. And sometimes this is what you must do. I know a lot of us got pride, and we don't want to get on public assistant. A lot of brothers that been locked up, and a lot of brothers that been in the street getting money, right? By any means necessary, which is wrong. You shouldn't get money by any means necessary. You should get money righteousness, the righteous way and blessing way that the Creator taught us how to, but people do what they do, right? With their free will. So it's gonna come a time where you're gonna have to think outside the box, and you're gonna have to swallow your pride and go apply for public assistant and go get these jobs, because ain't no jobs filling you like that. A lot of these jobs are not filling you like that. That was during that time, in that era. So I swallowed my pride, and I went to go apply for public assistance. And a lot of people that don't mean public assistance, if they don't know what that means I had to go apply for food stamps and cash assistance in order to get these jobs, right? And I kept pushing. Before that, it took me a while. I just ain't go over there. It took me a while. It took me a while to do it. So I didn't know how to build resumes. I didn't know anything about resumes. I didn't know about job search. I didn't know about anything. All I knew about, years ago, when I was coming up, all you had to do is go fill an application out, right? And if you got a resume, you'll give them a resume and your cover letter and a couple of references, and you'll get the job back then. Now the job market had changed. You had to go apply for public assistance or to get these jobs. So, I'm going through the process. I really needed the job at the time, It was crazy out in the street. A lot of people was getting locked up. A lot of people was making money. And this was trickery during this time, and I knew exactly what it was. I'm like, I'm not participating in staying on the corner for hours and hours looking for the police to trap me, because I knew exactly what it was. So I'm like, okay, cool. Let me go apply for public assistance. I got on public assistance. They sent me to the Back to Work program. Now, at the time, when the city was bad. It was doing bad, and there wasn't really a jobs out there. Either you out there selling drugs, or you out of town getting money, whatever the case may be, whatever you doing, or you was on public assistant trying to make it happen. So I said I chose public assistant when a lot of guys that I know, they was choosing the street life. They was choosing the street life, and they was getting locked up, and they was catching cases, right? So I said, you know what? I'm gonna go get on public assistant, even though a lot of people was laughing at me. A lot of my guys and a lot of people that know me was making fun that I get on public assistance. But you know what? I knew what time it was. It was time for me to be safe. I had to be safe. I had to be out here for my children, and I just couldn't do that, right? So I started going to the programs. In the programs, you had to dress up with suit and ties or slacks or some shoes, and that's exactly what I do. I had a couple of outfits. I had maybe like 2 or 3 outfits, and let me tell you something. I wore those outfits every day. If I had 3 outfits, that's what I was wearing. I was wearing suit and tie. Now, I bought skills. See, they was giving you tests. This was educational tests, reading tests and math tests. Actually, they wasn't giving math. I think they was giving reading tests, right? Tests. So you had to, they see where they'll place you at, right? But some of the programs I took the test, but some I didn't, because I already had skills. And the skills I had, right? The skills that I had was warehouse work and machinery work, forklift, stand up, a high reach, right? Power jack. I had and I had all these skills, and plus I had my certification of forklift and maintenance. So there was no need for me to take the test because I already had the skills. Where some people was using the back to work program only to stay on public assistance. I'm like, listen, I had a plan. I'm like, listen, I'm not going to be here on public assistance for weeks and months and have public assistance because some people had to go through that in order to pay their rent, right? In order to pay their light bill, in order to pay all of these things, right? And there was a lot of women in there. It wasn't that much men, but it was a lot of women, but there was some men in there. Some men was mandated by probation and parole. Probation and parole, basically. They was mandated there. But I wasn't on neither. You know, at the time, you know, at the time I'm living with my lady. And I'm like, listen, I gotta make it happen, man. I'm not no drug dealer. I'm not none of this stuff. I'm not picking up no gun, going outside. I gotta make this happen. And every day, maybe for like, I always stood in the back to work program for not even a month. Close to a month, couple of weeks, right? I started utilizing the workshop, and the workshop that they had there was resume and cover letter building. I started using the computers. I started learning how to do my own resume. I started using all the resources that they had. So I had to learn just in case I will ever get in a situation again. I know how to do resumes. I know how to do cover letters. So I applied myself. Remember, I wasn't staying there for months and months and months. Already had skills, already had skills, already had talent there, you know, and I already had work history there. So still did for a little bit, and I used the back to work program for me to find work and me to find an opportunity. I always land a job. Thank you to the Alpha Omega that created everything existing. I always blessed me to find a job, to find something that can better my situation and better my family at the time, you know, and to put a little money in my pocket. And this is an actual true fact because I knew exactly what it was when people was getting locked up and people wasn't going to the back to work program, when they was hugging the block and they wasn't with the vibe. They talking about, I'm not getting on public assistance. They was going to the streets and they was getting locked up and catching bids. I already knew what it was. So I didn't fall into that trickery or them traps or that darkness that society had planned for all of us, whether it was male or female. The reason why I'm telling you is, right, and the reason why I am making so much content on previous jobs that I had is because you have to use all available resources, benefits, and talents and skills that you have to make it happen. Do you understand me? Do you feel me? You have to use it because in order to understand that, you know, we so custom and used to this certain lifestyle, but this lifestyle is leading a very, very dark way of life upon us, where we can end up in jail, where we end up dead, right? And not even being out here for our loved ones, and ended up with long bids because we don't see the track and the foolery. We don't see it. So we indulge in to a lot of things that's going on in our neighborhood, the fast money, the fast cars, whatever else that's plaguing us in our communities. Ain't nobody talking about, I'm not doing no 9 to 5, I'm not working for the man, I'm not working for this. Well, if you're not gonna do that, you're gonna wind up upstate, rocking state greens, right? Well, 5 years over your head. So I already seen that. So what I did, I mastered the game and I understood the assignment. And I've been in the field working for years and years and years. I learned how to build resumes. I learned how to build cover letters. I learned how to build references. I made a connection with the workforce. Working. So I know exactly what to do. And this is way before that they had Indeed or Monster.com, right? But even with Indeed and Monster.com, because these websites just came out, I was utilizing them. Definitely was utilizing them. And then some of these companies, right? Because they was getting funded by the state to bring people back to work programs so people can get off public assistance, right? And also at the same time, these companies was getting money from the state and the government. They was getting a budget. So it depends on how many people that they had in their program. They was getting more money. And everybody was on that part of the game, right? They're going to the back to work program. So I utilized the workshops and everything that they had there. I always tried to get the OSHA, but I never stood that long because I wasn't planning on staying there. I'm just looking for a job and looking for a career job or a job, and I'm going to take it from there. I wasn't worrying about OSHA 30 or any other program that they had there. I just needed a job to get money and to make it happen, and that's exactly what I did. In each of these jobs that I went on, I always brought my skills and my talents to them, and once I get there, I'll get more money because I had hidden talents and skills and benefits there. And the managers or the bosses was there was like, Dad, we got to do this to Austin. We got to do that. They'll up my pay. So I'm saying is to say that use all of your resources, use all of your benefits that's there in the world. It's going to come a time where there is not going to be no programs for you, right? And what I mean by that, well, what do I mean by that? Meaning that there's not going to be no government funding programs like right now. A lot of these programs is not there. Not saying that they there, but a lot of these programs are not there. At least it may seem like that because they still got Workforce One, they still got Fortune Society, they still got a lot of programs out there that can help you if you want to get a job, a career job, right? There's still people out there. Right? The reason why I'm saying is because it's going to come a time, like I said, it's going to come a time where these programs are going to be gone. And what are you going to do? It's going to come a time where these platforms are going to be gone. Everything going to be gone. What do you have to offer the people? You have to ask yourself, what do you have to offer society? What do you have to offer the world that will bring you fame, fortune, and riches? Not in that way, but fame, fortune, and riches. What you have is your skills. What you have is your talent. What you have is your benefit, right? That and the magical ways that the Alpha Omega to creating everything in existence the Almighty gave you, and you utilize it so you can get money and you can get paid and you can take care of your loved ones and your family. This is an actual true fact. I got so many hidden talents and career job opportunities inside of me, I can't name them all. I cannot name them all. From plumbing, from electrician, from carpentry, from welding, from painting, from plastering, from renovating homes and houses and apartments. You know, a little bit of everything, especially a barber, hair cutting, how to do women hair and men hair. Yes. So you have to utilize everything to get your hustle on, right? And to get your job search on. It's really, really important for you and I that we utilize all of the resources that's there. It's still there in society. All of the programs and everything is not over. You just got to put the footwork in. You have to put the research in. You have to put, if you have to go house to house, if you have to put your own flyers up, right, to become an entrepreneur and to show people that you got talent and skills, so it be the word of mouth to get money, you must do that, beloved. You must do that. So I learned that, and I just want to share with you the opportunity that was presented to me that I thought that, nah, man, it's beneath me. I'm not going to get on public assistance. I'm not going to get on, get food stamps. I'm not going to get WIC. I'm not going to get cash assistance. I'm not doing that. I'm a man. I'm going to go out there and make it happen. I'm going to go out there and sell drugs. So you rather go out there and sell drugs to your community, destroy your community, in the same process end up with a felony that's going to prevent you from getting city jobs and federal jobs, then go to the back to work programs where that it can build great character about yourself and give you a little edge in that society in the workforce that knows you. Because trust you me, the workforce, they know you. That's a whole different world. They know you. You would get jobs faster than somebody else that don't have skills. That's why I was moving like that. When every time that I had to apply to the back to work program, I was moving fast because I had the skills, I had the talent to offer, and these companies needed it. They needed forklift drivers, they needed warehouse managers, they needed everybody that knew something about fixing something, and I utilized my talent to get more money, more hours, and overtime. You should do the same thing, brothers and sisters. Thank you so much for being in tune, right? I'm about to go live again at 1:30. I want you guys to check that out when I was working in Storage Deluxe. Now, Storage Deluxe, I think it's Cube Smart now. They changed the name. I think it's the same company, right? But with a different name. It's not Storage Deluxe no more, it's Cube Smart. Because they still got the same locations in the same buildings. I'm definitely going to get into that. And I'm going to show you how I started to become, and that was not my beginning, it wasn't my foundation, but that was the beginning of now I'm a real estate agent. And I could tell you about some of the offers of real estate agents. The real estate agents wanted me to come aboard and to sell homes for them. Right? So that's at 1:30. Stay tuned to that. I want you guys to definitely feel me on that. I'm going to drop some jewels upon you and also drop some knowledge upon you if you don't know. If you want to get into becoming a salesman or a saleswoman, there's a lot of money into that. Trust you me. Don't think that there's no money into selling property or selling vehicles or selling everything. That's also amazing hustle. So I'm definitely going to give you my outlook on my outlook on that, and stay tuned. Don't forget to hit the notification bell. I will appreciate it that you hit it so you know that I'm going live. But these dope content, these dope videos for you, you know, while you go through a lot of difficult time and difficulties, sometimes you have to pick up and leave your location where you live at to start somewhere fresh and move, where there's no jobs at. Sometimes you may have to pick up your family and your loved ones and move to a different state, to a different location. Sometimes your state is not happening. Sometimes where you live in that is not happening. You have to pick up. I also did that just by me alone, picked up and moved to a different state to make it happen. That's right. And sometimes you may do that, changing people, place, and things because it's not happening where you at. So you're going to go where it's happening at, right? And I'm talking about positivity. I'm not talking about negativity, picking up and going to another state and, you know, doing foul things over there. I'm talking about making it happen with your talents and blessings that you have, that the Creator gave you, that you have. Utilize it, right, brothers and sisters? Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Peace.